Welcome to video 6 of the Brushing Up on Algebra series. This one is about quadratic formula examples. I'm going to have 2 examples, and the second one will be just a little bit different. But first, let's talk about what the quadratic formula is. Whenever you have an equation like this, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, now it has to be in exactly this form, and the right side has to be 0. It can't just be a number, it has to be 0. Then you can solve that with this right here. X equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. This solution actually comes from completing the square. But one thing I do want to say about this in particular is that by calculus you will want to have this memorized beyond a shadow of a doubt. Because even if you're allowed to have, notes, open note tests or whatever, or you're allowed a note card or something like that, you'd still want to have this down cold, so you don't want to waste time looking it up. So it's very, very important that you be able to know this instantly in the blink of an eye. So let's go on to an example. So we have 2x squared minus 8x plus 4 equals 0. So I'll go ahead and jump straight into it. Say x equals negative b is going to be positive 8. Plus or minus square root of b squared is going to be 64, because negative 8 squared is 64, minus 4 times a is 2, times c, which is 4. All over 2 times 2. 2 times a, because a is equal to 2. Now, 64 minus 4 times 2 is 8, times 4 is 32. 64 minus 32 is 32. And 2 times 2 is 4. Now 32 off to the side, I'm going to do a factor tree of 32 so that I can simplify this radical. I have a pair of 4s that I can pull out. So this becomes 4 root 2 over 4. And now I can factor a 4 out of the numerator here. And now these 4's cancel. And I have left 2 plus or minus square root of 2. These are my 2 solutions, 2 plus root 2 and 2 minus root 2. And that is how we apply the quadratic formula. Now, I'll go on to another example, one that looks pretty different, but is actually pretty much the exact same kind of problem. 2x to the 4th minus 11x squared plus 12 equals 0. So, the thing is that makes this look different is you see this x to the 4th. Don't let your brain shut down the moment you see that. So, because remember, this is the same thing as 2x squared squared, because we'll have, so if we have x squared squared, that's the same thing as x squared times x squared. We just have 4x's total. So x to the 4th is just x squared squared. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that because I don't want that on the screen. Minus 11 x squared plus 12 equals 0. So now I'm solving for x squared instead of x. X squared equals negative 11 plus or minus square root. B squared is going to be 121, because negative 11 squared is 121, minus 4 times 2 times 12. Over 2 times 2. Now, 4 times 2 is going to be 8. 8 times 12 is going to be 96. And 121 minus 96 is going to be 25. So this, oh wait, this is not good. This should be implies, not equals. So this implies that x squared equals 11 plus or minus 25. I didn't need that there. All over 4. And this is going to be 11 plus or minus 5 over 4. So x equals 16 over 4, which is 4, or x equals 6 over 4, which is 3 halves. X squared, excuse me. So part of our two solutions, I'm going to go ahead and go on to the next page. X squared equals 4, or x squared equals 3 halves. So now I'll go ahead and finish this up here. So that means that x equals plus or minus 2, or x equals plus or minus square root of 3 over 2. Now for a lot of calc classes, they don't really care if you, as you can see, my downloads are complete again. For a lot of math calc classes, they won't actually care if you simplify this, but in this case, I'm going to go ahead and rationalize the denominator. So multiply top and bottom by root 2, you'll get root 6 over 2. So these are our 4 solutions. So the reason why I wanted to use that is just because that way you can see how you can use the quadratic formula. Even though this doesn't quite look like a quadratic formula problem, you can actually solve it using the quadratic formula, and you get these 4 solutions. Alright, that concludes this video. I will see you in the next one.